Spider-Man doesn't win the way other heroes do. He doesn't get rewarded, he doesn't get celebrated, and he doesn't even get thanked most of the time. He just keeps losing and chooses to follow responsibility anyway. And somehow, women love Spider-Man more than the majority of superheroes out there. Not because he's funny, not because he's relatable, and not because he's powerful, but because Spider-Man embodies something most men talk about and very few actually live. So let me break down 8 reasons why women love Spider-Man and why most men misunderstand him completely. Reason 1. He chooses responsibility over happiness. Spider-Man doesn't get to have his cake and eat it. That's the core tragedy of his character, dating back to his first issue of his comic book series. Every time he chooses love, somebody dies. Every time he chooses himself, someone else suffers. Every time he relaxes, the world reminds him why he can't. And he learns early that happiness is conditional, but responsibility is permanent. Women are attracted to men who understand trade-offs, because attraction isn't built on fantasy, it's built on priority alignment. Spidey's not the type to chase pleasure and hope responsibility follows. He leads with responsibility and accepts whatever happiness survives. That's not exactly romantic on paper, but in real life, that's the difference between a boy and a man. Reason 2, he has power and never centers it. Spider-Man is physically terrifying. The dude has super strength, near precognition, and speed that outclasses almost anyone. And yet, he never makes the moment about dominance. He jokes, he de-escalates, and he restrains himself. Women don't feel safe around men who need to show power. They feel safe around men who possess it and don't have the constant need to show it off. Because for women, uncontrolled power is anxiety, and controlled power is security. Spider-Man is not pompous, he regulates, and that self-control communicates confidence without intimidation, and that's rare. Reason 3, he feels guilt and doesn't run from it. Spider-Man is defined by guilt. Uncle Ben isn't just a tragedy, he's a moral wound that never closes. And Peter doesn't numb the pain, he doesn't outsource it, and he doesn't turn it into cynicism, he carries it. Women trust men who could carry emotional weight without collapsing under it or weaponizing it. A man who could say this hurts, but I'll still do what's right is infinitely more attractive than a man who pretends nothing hurts. Spider-Man doesn't escape his emotions, he interrogates them, and that's what most men don't understand. It's not weak to have emotions, it's weak to be a slave to them. Reason 4, he doesn't perform masculinity. During high school, Peter Parker is awkward, he's broke, he's late, and he's stressed, and he never turns that into resentment. At least not on his own anyway. He doesn't fake confidence, he doesn't cosplay toughness, and he doesn't hide behind ego. Women are exhausted by men who perform masculinity instead of embodying it. Spider-Man isn't trying to look strong, he's trying to be useful. That authenticity is grounding, and grounded men are rare. Reason 5, he sacrifices love without becoming bitter. Spider-Man walks away from love repeatedly, not because he hates women, not because he fears intimacy, and definitely not because he thinks relationships are weak, but because he understands consequence. And here's the key difference. He never blames women for the cost of his choices. A lot of men turn sacrifice into resentment. Spidey turns into quiet grief and keeps moving forward. And women feel that emotional maturity instantaneously, because nothing is less attractive than a man who punishes others for the weight of his own life. That is straight up pitiful, I'm not gonna lie. Reason 6, he never claims the world owes him. Spider-Man has every right to feel cheated. He has no money, no recognition, and no stability when he constantly sacrifices himself for the world. Hell, even the multiverse at this point. And still, after all that, he does not say, "Why me?" He says, "Who needs help?" Women respect men who don't externalize their suffering, because entitlement is loud, responsibility is quiet, and Spider-Man doesn't posture as a victim, he acts as a steward. Reason 7, he has a moral line and he keeps it. Spider-Man doesn't kill, not because he's weak, not because he's naive, but because he understands what crossing that line does to you.
I lost Gwen. She was my MJ. I'm never gonna be able to forgive myself for that. At some point, I stopped pulling my punches. I got rageful. I got bitter. I just don't want you to end up like me.
Women pay attention to consistency. A man with power who chooses restraint is way more trustworthy than a man who justifies cruelty. Spider-Man does not need to prove righteousness, he just lives it. Reason 8, he gets back up without apologizing for it. Spider-Man gets beaten down constantly. Physically, emotionally, and existentially. And yet, he doesn't make speeches about resilience. He doesn't demand credit, he just gets back up. Most women don't fall for invincibility, they fall for reliability. Spider-Man shows up again and again and again, even when nobody's watching. And that's why we all love Spidey. Women don't love Spider-Man because he's perfect. They love him because he's accountable. And most men don't fail at being Spider-Man because they lack strength. They fail because they don't want the cost. And that's where most men go wrong, because if they truly idolize Spidey, they should know that Spider-Man 101. With great power
comes great responsibility.
Thank y'all so much for watching. If this felt personal, subscribe. I don't break down characters just for entertainment. I break down why certain stories expose parts of us we love and or don't like to admit. And if you like more non-fiction stuff that includes general, dating, and financial psychology, check out my channel, we have that too. Plus, stay tuned, I'm posting a video tomorrow. Before y'all go, comment down below what's your favorite Spider-Man movie and why. I'd love to hear y'all opinions.